So I don't normally do review videos on the latest Games Workshop boxes, but this one is just a bit different. And I was so excited about finally getting it in my hands that I just couldn't help but get on camera and want to gush about it. I am of course talking about the brand new Battle of Osgiliath box set for the Middle-earth strategy battle game. So let's take a look at the box and let me tell you why I think this is the most exciting box set from Games Workshop for a very, very long time. I'm Benji and welcome to Benji's Hobbies. So before I get to it, I want to be completely open and transparent. I was not sent this box by Games Workshop. This is my very own copy that I pre-ordered with my own money from my local gaming store. So my opinion is based on having bought this for myself and not because I've been sent it. I am, however, coming at this as an existing and pretty big fan of the game. It's what I started playing and it's what brought me back into wargaming back in 2016. So this might just skew my view ever so slightly. This new set is essentially replacing the old starter set, the Battle of Pelennor Fields, which was released back in 2018. The new box contains the rulebook, dice, tokens, measuring sticks, 54 miniatures, and a whole load of terrain. Before we really dive into the box and look at all the minis though, I think it's worth taking a moment to talk about the rulebook. Although this is a new starter set and this rulebook does have a different cover to the previous one, this is not a new edition. Rather than being a new edition, this is essentially an updated version of the old rulebook, which includes any and all FAQs that have been added over the last few years. Now this is quite an interesting move from Games Workshop. Normally a new starter set for Age of Sigmar or 40k would include a new rule set, but not this time. I'm not going to speculate too much on why I think this is the case, but I heavily suspect that it's due to the fact that the game is already incredibly nicely balanced, and there's definitely a reason why it's remained largely unchanged over the last 20 years. For us as hobbyists and players, this is a great move. It means that essentially the existing rulebooks, along with the relevant FAQs, are completely up to date. So if you don't want to pick up the new box or the new rulebook separately down the line, then you don't have to. It also means that all the supplements and source books released over the last 4 years are still valid, so there's absolutely no need to replace them. If you're an Age of Sigmar or 40k player, this might just come as a bit of a shock, but it's really a refreshing change compared to the way Games Workshop normally releases updated rules. Now I'm not going to delve too deeply into the rules and how the game is played, because that is completely beyond the scope of this video, but there is a saying that the Middle-earth strategy battle game is easy to learn but hard to master. And the best way to learn the game is by playing out the 4 scenarios included in the scenarios and profile book. These start out nice and simple, with just 12 warriors on each side in the Orcs cross the Anduin scenario, but gradually introduce more rules and miniatures, culminating in the rather epic Fall Back to Minas Tirith scenario, which uses all of the models in the box. If previous books are anything to go by, then these scenarios will be slightly weighted one way or another, depending on the outcome in the films. But regardless who wins or loses, they promise to be fun to play and a great introduction to the rules of SBG. I'm personally really excited to give these scenarios a try myself once I've got everyone painted up. The booklet also includes the profiles for all of the heroes and warriors included in the box, but you'll need to pick up the Armies of the Lord of the Rings book if you want to work out the points value of your forces. For playing through the scenarios, these won't be needed, but if you want to start building match play forces from the contents of the box, then it's a book you're going to want to invest in. So now that we've looked through the books, let's take a look at the exciting part, the minis. Now this really is a tale of two halves for me. On one side, the included warriors are all old sculpts. The warriors of Minas Tirith have been around since 2003, the rangers since 2006, and the Morin Orcs and Trolls since around 2008, so these really are by no means new models. Whilst the sculpts aren't bad, they're definitely starting to show their age, in particular the warriors of Minas Tirith and rangers. It would be nice to have new warriors, however I can completely understand why these haven't been replaced and updated. As much as I love Middle-earth SBG, I appreciate that it is in no way as popular as Games Workshop's flagship games, so investing in remaking existing models probably isn't financially viable. But who knows what could happen if we see some reinvigorated interest in the system. The Morannons and Troll, whilst still somewhat dated, definitely hold up better to today's standard. But the only change I wish had been made was that a sprue of Mordor Orcs were included instead of one sprue of Morannons. I'd have liked to have seen a little bit more variety on the evil side, and if you bought the previous Pelennor box set, you will already have 36 Morannons, so another 24 just feels a little bit overkill. But onto the positives, the brand new hero sculpts. In this box, we have 4 new plastic heroes, and that is way more than I could have ever have hoped for. Now, these really are just gorgeous models, and these were the first thing that I went rummaging for in the box once I'd picked it up. Gothmog, Faramir, Madril and Damrod all have brand new models and have, for the first time, been made in plastic rather than either metal or resin, and the newer plastic models that GW are producing are just an absolute joy. It was about time that my boy Faramir got himself a respectable plastic model, and Gothmog's new Warg is just an absolute unit, and is far more imposing than his old metal and resin counterpart. Now, whilst there are a lot of small parts that need to be glued together, the finished models are just absolutely perfect, and I'll gladly take a bit of extra sprue complexity for more dynamism in the poses. Also, the added options on the sprues, such as different hand weapon options for Gothmog, and the choice of Faramir jumping over a ruin or a log are a really nice touch. Now, the other thing I was really excited about in this box is the brand new Osgiliath ruins, which are, by all accounts, one of the most versatile kits for Middle-earth SBG created to date. The range of terrain that is coming through is just fantastic, and it's amazing to be able to flesh out Middle-earth on the tabletop. Osgiliath in particular has been one of my firm favourite battlegrounds, so to be able to recreate this with modern plastic kits is just fantastic. The terrain master Ray Dranfield has absolutely outdone himself on this one, and I can't wait to start putting mine together. The only reason it's not already stripped off the sprue is I want to take my time and make sure I get the most out of this kit before I put it all together. Personally, I'm hoping there will be further kits added, much like we saw with Rohan, in the form of houses, palisades and watchtowers. Some stairs and roof pieces, and maybe even a bridge, would add a lot of variation to the tabletop. Now, I see some complaining about this box that there's fewer minis in it compared to the Pelennor Fields. However, personally, I feel that the inclusion of terrain really makes up for any difference in model count, because terrain is such an important and integral part of playing a Middle-earth strategy battle game. So who is this box really for? If you're new to Middle-earth and want to dabble, then this really is the box for you. It has everything you need to start playing, including 2 decent starter forces that would be easy to flesh out into decent match play forces if you wanted to go down that route. If you're an existing veteran of the game, then there isn't a huge amount in here for you. You don't necessarily need the new rulebook, and chances are that you'll have a lot of the warrior models already. The new heroes and ruins are absolutely fantastic though, and to me are the real standout in this box. But it's highly likely these will be released separately in a few months, so if you can wait for them, then you don't need to rush out and buy this box. I picked this up for £100 from Element Games, and if you want to pick up your own, then you could always use my affiliate link, which you'll find down in the description below. If you bought the contents of the box separately, it would be well over £200, and that's making some assumptions for the price of the terrain and the new heroes. So at only £100, it feels like it's not only a great way to start playing if you split it with a friend, but also an absolute bargain. Whether you're a fan of Middle-earth or just after a new wargaming system to try out, I definitely feel like this box set will push all the right buttons for a lot of folk out there. I'd love to know what you guys think about this box set and whether you feel that it's good value for money and whether it's a good intro into the game, so let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you click that subscribe button, because there is plenty more Middle-earth content coming up on the channel very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Two cameras. Living the dream.